here with you.
It's been a huge success. Congratulations with the Quint project. Yeah, it's been awesome.
Well,
great for our investors as well.
Well, listen, we're trying. We're doing what we said we would, and that's the main thing. I think people really appreciate when the core team of a project is dedicated and committed and is declaring a roadmap, but then is actually accelerating that roadmap and delivering things sometimes ahead of schedule. For example, we've had a few big partnerships, we'll talk a bit about them later, that we had expected to come in towards the very end of this year, but we're operationalizing them right now. And it's really just such a privilege and a pleasure to be part of such a committed team. And one of the things that we're incredibly grateful for, and part of our success, is, of course, our investor community. They're very resilient, but also the general Quinter community. On Twitter, on Telegram, just on every social channel. Our TG is always buzzing, it's hopping, and just the sheer amount of dedication and loyalty that we're seeing to Quint and what we want to achieve. I mean, that's a bit rare in this space. That's not to be taken for granted in this space, because usually with projects, you do have a few opportunistic elements as well, people who just want to inflate their bags and get out of there. But with Quint, we're seeing a lot of people who are committed, who G us on, who are always thrilled to hear from us. And that's why I'm so very happy, Glenn, to be back with Whale Coin Talk, having a chat with you. I know that we've done one before, and that was superb. So, and the team reached out and they wanted those updates. And I said, happy to oblige. I'm the Chief Comms Officer of Quint, and it is always a privilege and a pleasure to be talking about the project and be talking to wonderful channels such as you.
Okay, great, Hisham. Yeah, it's great to have you back. And I'll start the recording if you're ready, and we can go straight into the Quint project and what's been happening over the last 6 weeks until launch.
Cool.
Okay, good afternoon to the Talk community. Today we have an AMA, our second AMA with Quint. Quint's first AMA was on the 13th of April. I think that was the private sale of the pre-sale. They launched 8 days later on the 21st of April. It's been a huge success, 1.6 billion market cap, 16,935 holders at Quint. We can go into everything that they're offering and the utilities that they're building at Quint shortly. But if we can just maybe start for investors that were on the first call, about what's been happening for the first 6 weeks since launch, and for new investors, if we can have an introduction into Quint and the utilities attached to it. Hisham, that'd be great.
Wonderful. So let's start with the brand new investors, in case you haven't heard of this project before. Well, that means that I, as the Chief Comms Officer, am not doing my job, because my goal and the team's goal is to make sure that the word Quint resonates from every corner of the world to the other. And we're hoping that we're doing that. But let's just brief summary about Quint and its aims. Quint was started by a core team of real-world industry veterans and titans to address what we felt as crypto enthusiasts as well, and as investors in third-party projects, to address what we thought were potential shortcomings in altcoins, or things that we felt could do better, because our work ethic and our reputation comes from the real world, where you have to deliver what you say, you put your face forward. If you say you're building a real estate tower, you deliver, otherwise there are penalties. If you say that you're going to deliver a project, I'm a consultant in the real world. I work with enterprises, blue chips, government all the time. And if you say you're going to do something, well, then you have to do it. Otherwise, there are real world consequences. And what we wanted to do was bring this idea of accountability, of innovation, of ambition, of people who are fully doxed, who are out there supporting, presenting a project to the crypto space. And that's what Quint was about. Quint's motto also is connecting the metaverse to the real world, because I think we're all the projects in the crypto space, in the metaverse space, I think we're all rowing in the same direction, really, because if you look at the statistics, what is it, Glenn? Is it about 3.9 or 4% of the world that currently invests?
2 or 3%, I think, but like it depends on the country. India is about 10%, so they're ahead of many other countries.
Overall, globally, it's about 3.9 to 4% of the population that is currently holding crypto, or has a lot of interest in crypto, or has exposure to the space. So our goal is not just to reach out to people already in crypto, although we are, and we absolutely love them. It's also to address that big 96% slice of the pie, because adoption, real world adoption, is a huge element of what Quint is all about. And that's why in everything that we do, we try and link the metaverse to the real world. How do we do that? For investors who are just joining us, 3 key examples and ways that we're going to do. First, we've got what we call super staking pools. Now, everybody's aware of staking pools. That's fairly clear. You put your virtual assets, your tokens, your coins into a pool, and you get those returns. We've come up with the idea of super staking, wherein not only are you getting world-class crypto returns that you can compound at the press of a button, no need to go to a third-party site, but you're also getting real-world rewards and perks. Because here's one of the, I won't say shortcomings, but here's one of the features of being a crypto investor, right? If you want a real-world reward, like say you want a supercar experience or whatever have you, eventually you have to cash out to fiat or to USDT. So say you've made a great investment in a meme coin, you've increased your bag. Eventually though, to get to the real world and the lifestyle you want, you're going to sell, you're going to convert to fiat, and then you're going to use those sums of money to buy that experience or buy that or buy that asset or buy that luxury car or whatever that is. Our super staking idea is, why don't you just hold on to the capital in Quint that you have? There's no need to convert it to fiat to get the perks. We will bring you the perks. And here's how we do it. Our luxury raffle pools are designed for our retail investors. And that means small ticket people who love investing in crypto, but might not be backed by millions or whatever have you. With our luxury raffle pools, what you get with a very small ticket price, for example, you stake 500 Quint. At today's prices, that's just under $1,000. At Quint's all-time high, it was close to about $1,200, say. For that, our very first luxury raffle pool is giving out not 1, but 2 limited edition pavé, that means diamond covered, Hublot Big Bang watches. And the basic idea is that these luxury raffle pools are aspirational. They bring a certain sort of glamour to investing in crypto, and they also give very real world rewards and assets. So when these luxury raffle pools, they don't even have much of a lock-in period. 3 weeks, and bang, you've got that prize. Completely transparent, completely there. Then we've got our quintessential pools, and these are going to launch soon, and I'm very excited about them because each quintessential pool has its own list of perks and rewards. So they'll have different lock-in periods, they'll have different ticket sizes based on what is being offered. And what is being offered will be superb. Because if you look at our core team, for example, our managing partner is at the helm of CG Global, which is a Forbes-listed conglomerate, 4 generations in the business, been listed in Forbes since 2013, across 35 countries, 96 brands. They own luxury properties all over the world, Dubai, the UAE, Maldives, etc., you name it. So that makes it very easy for us to tie up with them and other people such as hospitality operators and operationalize, for instance, discounts on luxury stays and spa experiences. It makes it very easy for us because of our real world connections to offer things like supercar experiences, to the, like luxury holidays, flights, all of this. And here's the kicker. Our chairman of the board, who joined after Quint was launched because he believed so much in the project, we'd actually approached him as an investor and he decided to jump on board, is none other than the chief operating officer of Etihad Airlines, one of the world's best airlines and the global and the national carrier of the United Arab Emirates, official national carrier. And he went back to his board and he went back to his legal team and he said, I want to join this project, but I want to do it publicly and I want to be at the forefront of this. And they did the due diligence, they cleared it, and he's joined. And so down the line, our quintessential pools are also going to be offering, apart from all the ideas that I've offered you, we'll be offering air miles from Etihad and also Emirates. These are all things we're working on. And down the line, Glenn, what we really want to do, and this will happen, it's not a dream, it's something that we're going to do, is we're going to create premium super staking quintessential pools that will lead to real world investment opportunities. Look, our founding team members, a lot of them have massive experience in developing real estate projects, big towers in Dubai, in other parts of the world. And our goal is to make every quintessential investor every holder of Quint in that quintessential pool, become a fractional owner of a real world real estate opportunity. Now, it could be a tower. That sounds really nice, but it could also be a commercial property opportunity, either in the UAE or any other part of the world. It could be a hospitality property. But what we are going to be doing is we're going to be linking our future quintessential pools to real world opportunities. So these are two ways that we're connecting the metaverse with the real world and reaching out to not just crypto investors, but conventional investors, people who would traditionally have their money in, say, gold or real estate, or maybe they trade oil or they apply the stock market. We go to them, we talk to them, we explain Quint to them, we tell them about the team, we tell them about our real world experience, and they grill us. Because if you look at conventional investors who haven't invested in this space before, they ask you all sorts of pertinent questions. Well, what is crypto? Where's the value? How do you figure out what the value of a cryptocurrency is? And these are all questions that we answer. We sit down, we explain the process. We tell our investors that when you are purchasing a token, you are essentially purchasing virtual shares in a business plan. So we are running Quint like a proper startup, with the transparency and the investor relations that comes with that. The fact that it happens to be a startup in the crypto, partially at least in the crypto sphere, is incidental. Our work ethic, our transparency, and our standards are all derived from the real world, where there is real accountability. And that's why all our team is not just doxed, but incredibly loud and proud to be the founding team behind Quint, because we believe that this project is going to be our legacy, and it's going to reflect the achievements that we already have. I mean, we've put our resources into this project, but we've also staked our reputations. I mean, we're very well known in our fields. Like I said, our our managing partner and CEO, Rahul Chaudhary, is at the helm of CG Corp Global. He's very well known. Just Google him and, bunches of articles come out. Mr. Mohammed Al-Balushi, the chief operating officer of Etihad, again, a massive dignitary in the Middle East. And for him to come out and say, I'm the chairman of this project, huge. I'm well known as a presenter, public speaker, as a consultant to government and blue chip enterprises. But I just want to give you, I know I've rambled on quite a bit, Glenn, but I also wanted to give you one other way that we're linking the metaverse to the real world. So the super staking pools, luxury, raffle, great, quintessential, superb. The other thing is that we have an NFT boutique marketplace. Our new generation of NFTs are now, they come with their own utility, some of it in the crypto space. We're soon going to be transitioning that utility into the real world as well. We'll discuss some examples potentially later. But also what we're doing is, with an artist incubator program, we're selecting key artists that we are bringing to real world collectors, right? So, during the Renaissance, for example, Michelangelo, Raffaello, Donatello, all these wonderful, wonderful creators whose works we now look at, Leonardo, and marvel at. And here's the thing, but back then they were geniuses, yes, but they were jobbing artists. They used to create these things because they were commissioned by wealthy patrons. And through our boutique NFT marketplace, we're doing the same thing. We're giving opportunities for selected artists to serve the needs of wealthy patrons. Our collectors and connoisseurs can get bespoke pieces of art. Now, I mean, of course, they can bid and they can buy directly from the NFT marketplace, but they can get pieces designed according to their vision. And because so many of our connoisseurs and collectors and investors are in the real world, they want things that they can see and touch and not just use in the metaverse. So we actually deliver these pieces on demand, on request, to their doorstep in these beautiful token frames. I've got a video with me. I might be able to share it later if I can get my phone on. And these token frames are designed to display NFT art. They look absolutely brilliant, and you hang them up on the wall, and there yet again is that link between the metaverse and the real world. You've purchased something, but you're looking at it every single day as you walk to the front door, or depending on where you put the token frame, as you're watching TV or even as you're brushing your teeth. So these are just a few examples of how we are connecting the metaverse to the real world. And that's the essence of the model. Glenn, I'll soon be giving you some updates as to what's been happening since our last AMA.
Awesome, Hisham. Yeah, I'm going back to the conventional staking and farming for investors. What's the APY and what's the sort of staking periods there for investors, and the luxury raffle pools? What's the sort of timeline? I don't think that's started yet, has it? Is that coming shortly in the future?
So the luxury raffle pools are coming in incredibly soon. I know because I've actually seen them in the beta version of the site that only the founding team sees. The thing is, because we want everything to be seamless, what we do is that we create these and we test them extensively and rigorously. So, for example, even before launching our conventional staking, we tested it for a period of weeks. And, you know, our community was getting a bit, well, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? And we just said, look, we're Quint. We do things right. I don't want to start this and then have to troubleshoot. We're going to make sure that we adhere to massively high standards. I mean, for example, we voluntarily went ahead and even before launch, or just after launch, on the 21st of April, we'd already started the CertiK audit process. We're one of the very few projects in the space to have the CertiK KYC verified badge, which means that the CertiK team interviewed me, they interviewed our COO, they interviewed our chairman, they looked at our ID cards, verified our phone numbers, looked at our faces, and really made sure that we as people were who we said we were. And it's only then that that badge was unlocked. And so that's an achievement we're very proud of. But to answer your question, Glenn, the first thing we launched was the conventional staking because we wanted to take things step by step. The luxury raffle pools are coming up very soon. I'm going to tell you a bit about the both of them. The conventional staking is really simple. On this, you're not getting a whole lot of real world stuff going on because this is the conventional pool. But you are getting class-leading returns. Assuming that you compound fairly frequently, we're predicting an APY of 16%. That's what our math tells us. So a very solid API. I've staked some Quint and I see it. There's a little counter that shows you how your Quint's going up every day, and it's really quite addictive to watch it. And that really plays into this idea of creating a passive income, which is why a whole lot of people are in this space. I know this, and we wanted to serve that need. So, you know, again, you don't have to sell to make a profit. You stake, and you're earning in Quint anyway, and you will be able to get a passive income out of that. The 16% APYs on the conventional pools. There is the minimum for staking is only 100 Quint. There is also on the conventional pools no lock-in period. You can move your money around. You can move your Quint around as you want. You can move your tokens around. There is, however, you'll get a pop-up box that will say to you, if you unstake within 15 days, you will lose 15% of your profits till that point. Not your capital, not the Quint that you stake. That's all yours. That's coming back to you, but 15% of your profits. So there is no hard locked vesting or staking period on these pools. It's simple. It's easy. We've done how-to videos for our community as well. It really is a piece of cake. You can be up and staking within minutes, honestly, and we're very proud of that. Our luxury raffle pool's the very first one with those amazing Hublot Big Bang watches that I was telling you about. Will be online very soon. I'm not going to give you an exact time in terms of the exact hour, but we're talking hours, if not days. So really very soon, because I was just looking at them today, and there, again, the time period is very, very, very short. So from the start of the pool to somebody winning those watches, and actually I think we'll have two winners because there's two watches, so one goes to one winner and the other to the other. One's in rose gold, one's in titanium. Both are absolutely gorgeous. 3 weeks. That's how these raffle pools work. Within 3 weeks, we're paying something out. Raffle pool number 2, which we will announce imminently, is going to be giving away a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT. So yet again, incredible prizes. This is not mundane stuff. Every raffle pool that we run, we really want it to be aspirational and really appeal to our retail investors, because we don't want people to think that if I don't stake thousands and thousands of Quint, I'm feeling left out or I won't be able to avail myself of all the benefits. Now, having said that, if you do stake thousands and thousands of Quint, it just gives you extra tickets into the raffle pool. So each, say, 500 Quint gives you the equivalent of one ticket into the raffle pool. So if you put in, say, 10,000 Quint, that's probably 20,000 tickets into the raffle pool, which slightly increases your chance of winning. Having said that, our investor community is so diverse, and there's so many people that I'm sure will be staking, that it's not a sure thing that you can't just, muscle in with volume and game the system. And so that, Glenn, is just a brief sort of look at how the staking pools are working. The quintessential pools, I've told you, will, when they're launched, each will have, depending on what the awards are, depending on what the project, the real world project linked to it is, they will have their own ticket sizes, their own lock-in periods. The quintessential pools will be quite specialized, and each of them will have their own list of perks, benefits, and also their list of requirements.
Okay, great, Hisham. Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, so that's still up for grabs, the Bored Apes NFT. Did you say that that's around the staking? So the Quint Hublot watches and the Bored Apes NFT, you just need to stake 100 Quint. Did you say on the staking pool and the conventional one?
100 Quint. Not the conventional one. The conventional one has the 100 Quint is the conventional staking pool, right? Which just gives you crypto returns. The luxury raffle pools, you stake 500 Quint. That's your minimum ticket size. And the more you stake, of course, the more tickets you get. So our staking pools come in like 3 flavors, right? Conventional, and then the super staking. In the super staking, you have the quintessential, and you have the luxury raffle.
I see, yeah. And you've got the treasury, maybe we can go into that. You're planning to buy physical real estate to add to the portfolio of Quint in the future.
But that's the idea. Do you know, because Quint was an idea that the founding team had started discussing well before it was launched. This was an idea that was worked upon, again, with real-world ethics. We discussed feasibility. We met investors before we launched. We sunk our own resources into this. We've been talking about Quint and its feasibility and how we would be different from others in the space for about a year before we started making moves towards launching. And part of that was also building a treasury. I'll give you an example. On the 26th of March, before we'd launched, in fact, before even our pre-sale had started, somebody won an auction for the historic Nelson Mandela arrest warrant NFT. It was auctioned by Moment SA on March the 26th. Nelson Mandela, as we know, was the big freedom fighter, president of South Africa later, anti-apartheid activist, really a crowning leader in history for his fight for human rights and equality. And for his efforts against apartheid, he was sentenced by a white judge to 27 years in prison. That arrest warrant still exists in a museum in South Africa. It was digitized by Moment, and that NFT was offered with the proceeds going to charity. Somebody won it for 130,000 USD. It was only later that we came out and owned up and said, actually, Quint won this, and that piece is in our treasury, and it is a historical piece, and we're not going to part with it, but we will be either renting it out or donating it to exhibitions in the metaverse and in the real world in a token frame. Exhibitions, say, celebrating humanity or human rights, or looking into the history of South Africa. We will be donating that NFT. Our profile picture is a Bored Ape 575. Again, it's in our treasury. It cost $500,000. And one of the reasons that we have assets such as this is, again, to demonstrate intention, to demonstrate that we're serious, to demonstrate that we have the resources. Look, I'm not putting other projects down, Glenn. It's all wonderful seeing just how much incredible stuff this ecosystem is generating. There's so much noise and innovation, et cetera, et cetera. But let's face it, a lot of projects, they go into their pre-sale without having set up a proper website, without having done a whole lot of marketing, without having done those things. Once they have a reasonably successful pre-sale is when they start using that money to say, right, I think we should build a website now, lads, or right, let's get in and maybe raise some brand awareness. Even before a launch, we had used our own resources, and we're talking in the tune of millions of dollars to take Quint worldwide. We were on the screens of the NASDAQ building in Times Square in the USA. We were on the Brill building. We were in Bond Street in London. In Dubai, we were in JBR, The Walk, and other places. We did. And again, I have a video of this that I can share in your group later. The world's biggest banner skydive over the Palm. So there were like 6 skydivers that came out over the Palm, Dubai, which is this wonderful artificial island in the silhouette of a palm. It's one of the wonders of the world. They jumped out, a synchronized skydive, holding this wonderful banner with Quint on it. And every time I watch that video, and I've seen it so often, and our community has seen it, it gives me goosebumps. It's absolutely phenomenal. All of that we did even before we started our pre-sale. Our pre-sale, as you've already mentioned, Glenn, started on 7th of April. By the end of it, it had raised about 9,400, somewhat thereabouts BNB, around 4 million USD at those prices. We parlayed that into a launch on PancakeSwap, 21st of April. And by April 26th, we'd already completed 10,000 transactions. And we'd scaled around 4x between April 21st and 26th already. And even at that point, we were sailing against the headwinds. We were a new project, but because we built that investor trust, we'd done that global outreach, the market at that point wasn't doing very well, just like the market today isn't doing very well. But against that, we offered people who'd committed to Quint, who'd believed in us, even at that very, very early stage, a 4x return. Soon after we'd launched, we were trending on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, other valuation tools. Quint was everywhere. In the first 4 days, $3 million in volume a day for the first 4 days. It was absolutely superb to see. Then we continued with our roadmap. I think, launched our boutique NFT marketplace on the 17th of May. And our fixed price pieces, because we'd released just a limited collection at that point, 2 minutes. They sold out in 2 minutes because our community was waiting. Had to be replenished. Of course, the auctionable pieces were still, there was an auction, there was a timer on it, so the people just had to wait and bid. Fixed price pieces sold out in 2 minutes. And you remember what I was saying about the entire motto of Quint being operating well in the real world as well, and connecting the metaverse to the real world. While we were testing our boutique NFT marketplace, one of our pieces that was to be listed on the NFT marketplace was sold to a private collector for 1.8 million Quint, or over $500,000 US. That was pre-launch before. And again, it speaks to that mission of going back to how artists through history have always worked, where if you have wealthy collectors, or even maybe not wealthy, but if you have collectors and patrons who are willing to appreciate their art, then they're able to monetize their creativity and their ability. And that's, again, the collector who purchased that NFT was, again, a real world collector. And we showed him the work, and he said, that's great, but I buy contemporary art and I buy canvases. And I said, you know what, we will turn this into a canvas for you through a token frame, no problem. And it's that ability to convince people how the metaverse and the real world can be bridged is really part of the strength of resilience of Quint as well. Because again, love crypto investors, and I think that Quint is a project that over time, and I mean, we're still a very young project. I feel like I've added about 10 years to my life since we started working on this full time. But I mean, we launched on April 21st. It's June the 12th now. So, April 21st, May 21st, June 20th, like it's not even 2 months. But yes, our crypto investor community is very supportive, but a lot of our large investors are also coming from the conventional space, and they're not interested in making decimal point returns by playing the stock market. They're convinced that the idea of holding Quint is holding virtual shares in a business plan that is really going to deliver with real world utilities. And that's what we're going to do, right? We're not a meme coin. We're not just here for the hype. We're here to build enduring value based on a roadmap. We've already delivered some parts of that roadmap, but every day we look out there and we say, right, how can we increase Quint's utility through partnerships, through connecting with investors, through connecting with other businesses. And on that note, I mean, I am so thrilled to tell you, huge news. I covered global press. It was covered by global press. It was covered by Bloomberg, Forbes, the NASDAQ Times. There's so much. Khaleej Times, one of the Middle East's largest leading dailies. incredible amounts of real world press. Also, like Cointelegraph covered it, and so many others. We became the native ecosystem token for the world's largest esports platform and transmedia giant, Galaxy Racer DXP. And they have about a reach through their influencers and other subscription networks, etc., of about 600 million globally. And they're going to be investing $25 million into our ecosystem. Of course, there were some members of our community who were like, excellent, 25 million, like lift my bag, this is great. And, I had to get in there and explain, they're not just going to buy $25 million worth of Quint today so that you can see a spike upwards and decide to take profit. They're actually, that 25 million is earmarked for developing our ecosystem, for integrating the Quint and its APIs with their e-commerce store, which is just launching. I mean, this is really cool, by the way. They have so much amazing merchandise. Do you know that they have the legal rights and intellectual property to the entire Portuguese football team, the national team, including one individual who goes by the moniker of or brand of CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. They have the intellectual property to his kit because of the deals that they've struck. They've struck so many deals already. They're now transitioning that into the e-commerce space. And we are their native token. I mean, that is just massive utility. And we're in talks with so many people in the real world, in the e-commerce world, also about what else we can bring to the Quint ecosystem.
Awesome, Hisham. Yeah, Quint's on another level, obviously, for the BSC. I've seen since the launch, it's I think it hit an ATH of 12x, just going up month after month in this bet.
Oh, actually, no, the ATHs are 88. Sorry, Glenn, not 12x at all. About 35 to 36x. In fact, awesome. I don't mind telling you, like the first correction that we saw, we just grew and grew and grew to the point that I'd be looking at that. Chart and going, need a correction, because you also don't want to price out new investors, right? So, and it was just up till about 2.79. Then on, funnily, and the world works in strange ways, and if you're in this space, you need to be ready for this. 30th of May was the first time we saw a dip, and it was actually a few hours. I was up. It was late where I am, and it was a few hours before we were going to make this big Galaxy Racer announcement, and we were hoping for a huge bump for that. But the market had started doing interesting things. And I believe that, somebody took profit, or a couple of people who'd been holding Quint since the start took profit. And that eventuated in a little bit of panic selling, which was really interesting to see, because people are like, and you know why I think there's a bit of panic selling? Because the Terra Luna news had dominated all headlines for the past few days leading up to that. And just the people were, I mean, that hurt the entire ecosystem, let's face it. So, but what was really, in a way, because I think that I was actually, in hindsight, I'm glad that happened, because our Quinters were just getting used to going up. Like every day they'd check their wallets and they'd be like, oh, look, we're making so much. And people who bought at pre-sale had 35x'd. So while we want people with vision who will hold for the duration of what we're building, if somebody has made not even 350%, 3,500% profit on their initial investment, if they've taken profit, I really can't begrudge them that much. What I felt sorry for were the panic sellers who just went, oh, some people are selling, I'll sell. And then I could see the same wallets trying to buy back on the other side. And because we're in Pancake Swap, and we try and tightly control, or at least we try and control the quality of where you can find Quint to the best of our ability. And we've got a 10% tax and buy and sell to contribute to the stability of the market, A, and B, also to feed our liquidity pools and our marketing budget. And so these people, they pay 10% selling in a panic, but I could see the same wallets then buying as the market came in and corrected itself. That dip corrected itself within a couple of hours, and we were still right on track for that big announcement that we made. So it's been an incredible journey, and even now, if you look at the Quint graph, the market isn't doing particularly well. But then the real world market, Glenn, isn't doing particularly well. Like, because of the nature of my business, I'm a consultant. I open up the FT, Bloomberg, etc. People who don't really cover the crypto world, but they're covering the real world. And between the inflation and stagflation fears, and between the tightening that the Fed is doing, and between the war that's going on, the real economy is being pessimistic. And of course, some of that is, I think, showing up in the crypto world. But I'm very proud of the resilience of Quint and of the foresight of our investors. I mean, it's super. And people say, you know, why did you launch on BSC? Why not? Why don't you launch on Ethereum? Because, you know, everybody keeps going, the whales are on the next network, right? So if you launch on Ethereum, they're like, but the whales are in BSC. Or if you launch on BSC, but the whales are in Ethereum. The thing is, we are going to operationalize on Ethereum, Sol, Phantom. This will happen down the line. But for our purposes, I mean, BSC, low gas fees, fast chain, and we were quite happy to be part of that network. And I'm very glad that, thanks to Quint, I think it's sort of slightly, I don't know, this might be a bold statement, but I'm hoping that this has actually raised the profile of the BSC chain a bit as well. That, you know, projects with huge real-world aspirations, roadmaps, and a lot of resources being sunk in are choosing your chain as the launch chain before we go on to others.
Yeah. I mean, Quint, when I saw the chart, it was like through this bear market, it's one of the only projects that's been growing there across all blockchains. I was, you know, nearly fell off my chair. So hats off to your team and the community. Just
well, you know, and I will say this. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for that. And, you know, but I will say this, look, the chart isn't everything. I keep saying to my team, and I keep saying to all our Quinters, it's nice to look at the chart. But if you're just sitting there and clicking refresh all the time and looking at the chart, then A, I don't think it's a particularly healthy approach. And B, you're sort of missing the big picture, wherein, again, buying Quint is like taking ownership or purchasing ownership or shares in a big project with a far-sighted roadmap. So I would actually say, you know, yeah, it's great when the chart is going up, but I don't even mind if the chart slightly corrects itself, because, you know, it's the nature of the market. What we know where we're going with Quint, and we've got people who believe in us, and that's really, and we believe in ourselves, and that's really the most important thing.
Awesome, Hisham. Yeah, but I'm wondering, you've got 1.6 bill market cap. That would normally be in the top 40 on coin market cap, but they've not listed you in that position. I wondered why.
So here's the thing, right? Like, we've been writing to Poopcoin and all these others to correct our market cap, but we just haven't succeeded. Our market cap is not, it was over 2 billion. In fact, even now at current prices, it shows that it's about 2 billion or whatever have you. Maybe it's come down a bit because BNP is dropping or whatever have you. But the fact of the matter is that is our fully diluted market cap. There will eventually be 800 million Quint in circulation. That's it. There will never be any more than 800 million. So we're not an open-ended token, and that way we're not a deflationary token. There only ever will be 800 million Quint, but there are only 255 million that are in circulation. The rest of them are locked away. They're vested. They're for other uses, such as, you know, offering liquidity to or returns to our staking pools. Our founder tokens are still vested. So 255 million into the current price is your actual market cap. And when you look at it that way, it fluctuates between 500, 600 million, whatever have you. I'm not calculating it. I'm just off the top of my head. And there's a lot of room to grow, because I have had this feedback, but wow, you're already at 2 billion. Congratulations. But does that mean I'm too late? And I said, no, because those tokens aren't actually even out. A lot of these tokens will only come out when we hit a Binance or a huge chain, a centralized exchange that requires that sort of volume. Right now, our market cap is 255 at the current price.
Yeah, and then a lot's also staked in the conventional staking, and then a lot will go into
I am so
through
thrilled.
pools in the future.
You know, yesterday we crossed 200 million of value in stake just in our conventional pools. Like, out of the 255 million, in fact, I'm going to type in stake.quint and just check right now. When I last checked, almost 80 million Quint tokens out of the 255 million are locked in. Oh, sorry, I tell a complete lie, because it is 103 million Quint at present that are locked in staking pools out of 255. And this is incredible news, because this means that when the positive price action comes, it will reflect so much faster. So the total value, and it gives us great total value locked as well, right, of over 200 million. And that is just, it's incredible, because that shows the ability of this project to attract and retain investors and to bring out utilities that people are willing to lock value in. In fact, we had 30 million locked within of 24 hours. So I was very happy with that. $10 million were locked within an hour. of us launching staking, because that's what I love about our community. It's always right there waiting. They were waiting for our NFT launch. They were waiting for our staking. And now you guys can stand by for our luxury raffle pools, because they're going to be coming online very shortly as well.
Awesome, awesome. And so next you're going to be looking at the ETH and Phantom blockchains. You were saying some of the community were saying when, and then quarter 3, I think you've got Sol and Polygon, quarter 4 AVAX. So yeah, well, what's the sort of timelines for the rest of the blockchains? That's great.
So here's the thing: obviously, when you write a white paper, you do it. At least we wanted to. We wanted to make sure that we crossed our T's, dotted our I's, and made sure that we gave a tentative roadmap to our community long before we'd launched. We obviously work on the white paper first. Now, as we continue with this project, we start realizing that the order of these things can be changed around. So there are more pressing needs, such as, first off, we really want to get all our pools up and working. B, we really want to fully capitalize on our partnership with Galaxy Racer and its 600 million global followers. We also really want to partner with other organizations and businesses in the real world to see how we can create even more utility for Quint. And I can only hint at this, I can't announce this, but there are moves towards Quint actually going towards the third sector. So I mean civil society / charity, and actually create a movement there of operationalizing donations for causes in Quint. And I'll be ready with that announcement when I'm ready with that announcement, but that's another thing that we're working on. At present, we're happy with the BSC chain. We will be exploring other chains. Absolutely, it's in the roadmap. But I will be honest with you and tell you that right now, just at this second, as I talk to you, Glenn, and your wonderful community, that is not my priority. Oh, far before that, we now need to start taking concerted, we're now going to be moving towards CEXs. We were actually waiting for the market to sort of behave itself a little, because it's always good to go to a big CEX, and we'd always wanted to go to CEXs in the top 5, and we have real world connections, and we know people who head these exchanges without, names, because I mean, CZ's getting tired of people saying everybody knows him, so we're not going to name names or whatever. But we have the ability to do that. We were waiting for the market to turn around. But here's a funny thing: after seeing Quint's performance, even on the BSC chain, and remember, and we've seen volumes of 10 million USD a day just from PancakeSwap, without a decentralized exchange. 10 million USD just PancakeSwap. Seeing that, we've had a few opportunistic listings for Quint by smaller centralized exchanges. I think Who listed us, and then we got that reversed, and MEXC listed us, and we were thinking, what should we do? And then a member of our team actually spoke to them and said, we don't mind you listing, but don't just auto list, because then we don't know where your Quint's coming from. Are you buying from our contract? Do our taxes still apply? You haven't reached out. At least have the courtesy to put together a roadmap. Because for us, if you say buy off of one of these exchanges, right now, Hotbit, for example, has us. I shouldn't even be saying this, but I mean, they have us. They're doing very little volume, and there's a bit of a price difference, but I don't understand their mechanics. Our team don't understand those mechanics because they never approached us. But seeing as we're now seeing that centralized exchanges are taking unilateral action, which quite frankly surprised us a bit. But hey, I guess everybody looks at the volume and goes, oh, this is excellent. Flagship project, let's jump on it. We are now going to start a campaign of actually approaching exchanges that we feel we want to be on right now in this particular market. We might still save the top 2 or 3 for when the market's better, but I think that seeing as unilateral actions already being taken, we need to get ahead of this. And now, so that again is an immediate thing that we're working on as we speak. I've been sending emails, and our team's doing it, and our CTO, and that's why he couldn't be here. He's in negotiations with another exchange. So, these are areas of the roadmap that have been accelerated through emergent phenomena, and through conditions that have eventuated. So we're responding to that and getting ahead of the curve. So this is what's happening immediately. You look forward to your raffle pools coming in. You look forward to more utility being announced. You look forward to listings, which will build our volume. And these things are short-term wins that we're going to be working on.
Okay, great, Hisham. And I was wondering if the CertiK audit's been done now, or that's coming in the future.
The CertiK KYC badge has been issued. Like I said, they interviewed us. They wanted to see our faces. They did live interviews. So CertiK is very thorough. They are the best we have in this space. Now, some people might say they're not. They might not be PricewaterhouseCoopers, but they're the best we have in the space, and we wanted to go with the best. And so our KYC badge has been sorted. The main certic audit has been at 99% for about a week and a half, 10 days now, maybe longer. And I've just checked with the technical team and I said, why isn't this 100%? And it will be. Apparently they're waiting for one last email, or there's just some sort of confirmation. But we announced 20 days ago that they had completed their preliminary report, and they had found, and I quote, 0 serious issues with the Quint ecosystem, tokenomics, business model, smart contract. 0 serious issues. We're waiting for the report to be published. It's just a process of reconciliation. We've just followed up with them again today. But as far as we're concerned, it's done. If you go to our website, quint.io, hit the button at the top that says certic. It'll show you the progress. It's been at 99 or 99.9% for a few days now. It's something for me to follow up again on in the morning.
Great, Quint. I'll open it up shortly to investor questions, but what's happening with the Quint shop as well?
The Quint shop, again, once the luxury raffle pools come out, we'll operationalize the Quint shop. The thing with the Quint shop is that we're already reaching out to people that we think would like to sell through the Quint shop. Again, it's a platform that we want to create where creators can monetize their creativity. Of course, they'll be subjected, like everything in Quint, because we want to keep a certain quality standard, because again, we appeal to real world investors, and particularly and real world audiences. I mean, you'll already have seen like Quint shirts all over the place, from Turkey to America, to London, to whatever, people posing in front of landmarks with them. And we want to keep that same quality going. So we will be launching the Quint shop shortly, but the pools come first for us, because the pools immediately start adding to our TVL, and they start giving back in a bigger and better way to our community. And we really want to carry on with the principle of rewarding our community, not just with crypto returns, but also with real world perks and rewards. So that's really what I'm focusing on just at present.
Great, Hisham. And yeah, before I open up to the community questions, what's happening with the marketing plans going forward for Quint?
Every single day is a school day and a day of outreach for us, to be perfectly honest. We had made a huge, so our marketing plans, any marketing plan really, this is marketing 101 or the MBA 101. And there's 2 kinds of marketing roughly. There's brand awareness, brand building marketing, and there's tactical marketing. Right. And so the first one doesn't have a direct return on investment, in the sense that you're not pushing buys. And the more tactical stuff is, you run something and you're looking at how many buys that results in. We've done a lot of brand awareness before launching. In fact, like I said, we'd spent millions. We were on those big screens in all the in many global capitals before we'd launched. It was a statement of intent. We wanted, again, our ethos, our motto, linking the metaverse with the real world, and we wanted to demonstrate that by actually advertising in the real world, as well as online. So we've done a lot of brand awareness. We're currently still doing some tactical stuff, but at present, our marketing is a lot about actually sitting down and talking to people. Like, we have since launch enjoyed quite lovely relationships with a bunch of influencers who've become our ambassadors because they believe in the project. I know that I'm doing an AMA with you, but I'll just briefly go through the names. I mean, we're all one big family in this space. So, Venom calls as an ambassador, Caesar calls their ambassadors, Bull BNB of Twitter is an ambassador, Travelad is an ambassador, 50x Godfather is an ambassador. And these are all through actual physical conversations, either on Zoom or chats. Some of them happen to be passing through Dubai, and we've actually met them. And so a large part of our marketing is just that interpersonal approach. Let's sit down, I'll talk about the project, you tell me your thoughts, let's connect, let's figure out these ideas. And I think we're very lucky in that everybody that we sit down with, or most people that we sit down with, really believe in the project and want to be involved. Because it's a big thing for somebody to actually say, we want to be an ambassador. And we really appreciate that. So that's really where we're focusing on just at present, where we're also in talks here with some very exciting government entities, to see how we can take our physical presence forward with, say, offices and actually a plaque on the door and all the rest of that falling under the aegis and the sandbox of certain authorities. Again, as soon as that's ready to be announced, I'll be back right here. I'm talking to investors and saying, hey, congratulations, we're now 100% fully registered in real life as well. Now, mind you, our core day businesses are all registered. Like I said, we're in the public eye as service providers, as veterans, as business people, as people who've built projects, built hotels, built hospitality complexes, done so much, emceed huge events, consulted with government, all the rest of that. But and we're parlaying that into our marketing as well. So yeah, it's a mixed brand awareness, tactical on the other hand, where we feel the need. Obviously, but a big part of it is being there for our community, being involved, being open, having these conversations like we're having right now. People say, never met a team as willing to put themselves out there. And I said, well, but we're used to the real world. And here, if you don't talk to people, you don't get anywhere. So I love talking to communities, and that's why I'm here. And I love talking to your community. You've got a great channel going, Glenn, and it's a pleasure to be back here.
Thanks, Hisham. Yeah, we're always in touch with the other AMA groups, and everyone, like you say, is one big family, and we have lots of partnerships as well in them directions and launch pads and everything. And like you say, creating the real world and linking it to crypto. I mean, you've dealing with the real world with regulations, and you're trying to bring that into a deregulated market, which unfortunately, crypto is at the moment. But in the future, hopefully, regulations will come in after the Luna.
I will tell you this, a lot of people say no regulation ever, but just focus on this idea that only 3.9 to 4% of the world is even in crypto. The big crypto revolution is going to come when we focus on increasing that number. Move it up from 3.9 and 4% to the rest of the 96%, move it up to 10%, 15%, 20%. And that's how we've designed Quint. We want Quint to be one of those gateway projects that conventional people who've never invested in crypto before are actually comfortable investing in. So in that way as well, we're massively linking the metaverse to the real world by talking to real world investors, and by being that approachable project with the values. We self-regulate, essentially. That's our thing. Yes, there's no regulation in the crypto space, but we self-regulate. We do ESG, we do due diligence, we scan our partnerships. Some of our business people are in that way, and who they do business with or have that sort of more traditional mindset. And so if it's harmful products, like for example, tomorrow, if you say to me, Quint wants to partner with say, an alcohol brand, we'd have to think about it 2-3 times, if you know what I mean, to see whether it clears our environmental, social governance, and whether it clears the standards that we set ourselves.
It's great. Yeah, like you say, 3 or 4%. So the exponential growth is going to come. I think when Tesla hit 2%, they're just getting exponential growth now. Like iPhone was 2% as well for smartphones in 2007, and that's just blown up over the next decade. So that's what's we're expecting.
I mean, we're not in competition with any project. We're not in competition with each other. Our channels aren't in competition with each other. Do you know what, Glenn? It's that big audience that we're still not being able to get is where we should be going. And that's where Quint is looking. And that was one of the founding reasons for Quint. Let's do a project with the same values and self-regulation and consistency and transparency and accountability. Like, I will personally field requests from people who say, oh, some of my Quint have gone missing. And I'm like, I'm the CCO, maybe I can delegate this. But no, it's part of my values. I go, let me get on this right now, because as far as we're concerned, if we're promising something, I need to make sure that we're delivering. And 100% thus far, we have delivered more than we said we would, and sooner as well. But it's just that ethos of, everybody who's a Quinter, once a Quinter, always a Quinter. And if you're a Quinter, you're a digital owner of our big business plan and our roadmap.
That's awesome, Hisham. Yeah, let's open it up to community questions. Let's see here. Syed, you've got a question for Hisham and Quint. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. So I was going through your white paper, and it's mentioned that through conventional staking, informers farming, users will be able to enjoy rewards in a form of variety of tokens. So I want to know that which tokens user will be getting the rewards as conventional staking is live now.
So, I mean, look, I am not going to say to you that I've actually read the white paper in 15 days. The white paper was something that we wrote at the very outset, which sort of sets out in theory the roadmap in broad brushstrokes that we follow. At present, our conventional staking pools are giving out rewards in Quint. And quite frankly, I would like to keep it that way, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to create utility within of the Quint ecosystem. Even in our NFT marketplace, for example, you need Quint to be able to buy, sell, bid on our listings. It's lovely to see some of our NFT marketplace pieces have been sold and resold for great profits, about 3-4 times the popular ones. But it's all in Quint, because since that white paper was written, we've come to the conclusion that our first commitment is to creating value for Quinters. And to do that, it's to strengthen the Quint token.
Got it. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, moving to my next and final question. So on your white paper, it's mentioned also mentioned about Metaverse Arts Club, and
Yes.
both the buyers of the bespoke and limited edition NFT, and as well as the stakers in the quintessential pool, will also get access to the Metaverse Art Club to meet each other. So I was wondering that will you be developing your own metaverse from scratch, or you are thinking of getting a land in the sandbox or Decentraland to build your metaverse art club? How will that work?
So the very interesting thing is that in waiting in the wings, we already have a full gamified ecosystem developed by a gamification ecosystem developed by one of our partners. They've got 56 playable characters. It's all there waiting in the wings. The Metaverse Art Club, though, is again more real meets virtual world opportunity, where I am looking at starting this Metaverse Art. So the basic idea of the Metaverse Arts Club is to create that communication with artists and with creators that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. Say, for example, maybe a Jake Paul, maybe a Snoop Dogg, maybe a Justin Bieber, people that you wouldn't just run into. We want people who own, and of course the people who create our NFTs, to have access to them, ask them for tips, ask them for techniques, ask them any questions that you might have. And this does not require us to immediately start developing our own metaverse. In fact, I would not be developing my own metaverse at just this point in time, because I don't want to divert resources in that direction. If ever we require a metaverse, we'll require one that we've got the gamified side of it already. But this Metaverse Arts Club will be operationalized very, very soon. And we're just finalizing which channel to do it on. We might even start it on Discord using like private channels, and then move it further, because again, for Quint, the idea isn't just to create technology for the sake of it. It's to create connections between the real world and technology, and and the purpose of the Metaverse Arts Club is to give utility to owning an exclusive, bespoke, or Quint one-of-one Quint NFT. So you'll already see that our NFTs are increasing in utility. All the new NFTs that are launching now come with their own utility, with airdrops attached to them. One of them, which was commissioned by a Twitter influencer called the Bull of Binance Street, he basically said, if you buy this NFT, I am going to give you airdrops every year in perpetuity, forever. Which I thought was an amazing way of adding utility to an NFT. Another one by one of our artists, Selena, also has airdrops of altcoins built into it. And even the old original NFTs, we're going to be adding utility to them by giving all holders of NFTs access to the Metaverse Arts Club. And, who knows, down the line, maybe just holding a Quint NFT will give you preferential rates at real world establishments, etc. So we're thinking about all these things. It's wonderful.
Got it. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you so much. Over to you, Glenn.
For the question side, unfortunately, we're running out of time tonight, but if anyone's got any questions with the official links for Telegram and Discord or in our main chat. It's been great speaking to Hisham again today from Quint, our second AMA. They've had a huge success So it's a really safe project for our investors, and many did invest from the pre-sale AMA last time they were here. So that was great for our community. Yeah, and it's been great speaking to you again today, Hisham. But we do always say for Whalecoin Talk AMAs, for research and educational purposes, it's not financial advice. Do your own research, check out the website, white paper, and the community socials. Like I said, the official socials are in our main chat. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And Glenn, it is always a pleasure speaking to you. Let's make this a habit. Thank you very much to Whalecoin Talk for inviting us back again by invitation this time. It's superb. We're delighted to have you guys support us, and we're really happy that Quint is trying to set new benchmarks in this space, bring real-world adoption closer. And at the same time, guys, if, ladies, gentlemen, if any of you have any questions, like head over right now to our Telegram. It's a very active community. I drop in there all the time as well. We've got very experienced mods who've been there from the get-go. You'll be well taken care of. Come join us, be a Quinter. It's a great great feeling.
Thanks, Hisham. Yeah. Take care, and yeah, it would be great if you can come back in the future with new updates for our investors. Yeah, that have invested there, and for new investors in the future, that'd be awesome.
Well, thank you very much. You're very kind. Always good speaking to you, Glenn. Have a good night.
Hisham, yeah, have a good night and take care.
Bye.